Hello students, this is your teacher for the MBA Human Resource Management, and as you are aware we had done Unit 4 Part 1 in which we had covered compensation management, its concept, its components, the factors which affect that, both internal as well as external, and also the steps in compensation administration. So now I am starting from this compensation administration, the steps in it, and then thereafter we will talk about the employee incentives. So let's see, starting from steps in compensation administration or compensation management. So the purpose is to compensate the employees satisfactorily and equitably and achieve organizational goals effectively. So key point in this is that compensating the employees satisfactorily and equitably so that the goals of the organization are and there are no discrepancies or no heartburns, etc. Now the steps are, let us see in the diagram. First, analyze the job. As you are aware, we had done job analysis in the earlier section wherein we had talked about the job content and the job description. Then comes the next, evaluation of the job. What does the job involve? Evaluation of the job, how much of work is required in that job and how much of responsibility does that job involve. Then developing the pay structure for various jobs. Then we also need to do survey of wages and salary for the similar jobs in the industry or elsewhere among other organizations. Then based on that, we price each of the job and then we decide upon what compensation. As you are aware, compensation was both in terms of cash as well as in kind. And if there are anything required further, then revision and control. So I'll just go over these steps once again, that for steps in compensation administration, main purpose being employee satisfactory and equitably compensated, and so that the goals of the organization. So first, foremost step is analyze the job, evaluation of the job, developing the pay structure, survey of the wages and salaries, pricing of the job, and compensation, and if required then revision and control. So remember these 6 steps for compensation administration. So with this we complete the complete chapter on compensation. The next thing that we have to study afresh is now what we say employee incentive schemes. I had given you the basic terms when we were talking about the components of our packages, that is the salary and wages, etc., and all that, components of various compensation, and in that I had also mentioned you about the incentives. Now we will study the incentive schemes in detail. So this incentive scheme primarily covers under the 4 major headings. The 4 major headings being, first, the earnings or the incentives. Earnings or incentive are the same thing over here, vary in the same proportion at the output. One of the method will be the state piecework and the standard hour. We will study all this later on. The second way of incentive scheme is earnings vary less proportionately than the output. So there are 4 plans in that. We will study that also. The third one is earnings vary proportionately more than the output or so. And then there are 2 factors in that. Then we have the last one, that is the earnings differ at different levels of output or so. So coming with this particular thing, so first we will say earnings vary in the same proportion at the output, and in that the 2 methods are standard piecework and standard hour. So let us see this particular thing first, and then we will go on the subsequently 3 other things that are there as far as the incentive schemes are concerned. So first, employee incentives, earning vary in proportion to the output. Simple. Here any gains and losses resulting directly from the worker's output accrue to him. If there is a gain, he gets more. If there is a loss, then he has to suffer the loss. And the 2 things that we say is state piecework. State piece was very simple. Rate per unit of output is fixed and the total earnings of a worker are arrived by multiplying the total output by the rate per unit. So, more the output, rate per unit multiplied by that will give the state piece work rate. That's the incentive that a person will have. That the minimum level is set. After that, as much as you want to earn, that much you have to produce. Then the other thing was the second point, that the standard hour system. Standard hour system describes the standard time in hour for completion of a job is fixed. So you have fixed the time that is required for a particular job. The rate per hour is determined. Workers is paid for the standard time at his or her time. No, the worker, if he takes more time, then naturally he will not be paid much. But if he takes less time, then he will be paid more because his rate of doing the work will be faster than the standard time. So this was the first, that the earnings varying in proportion to output, state piece work, and also the standard hour system. Now the second of that was the earnings varying less proportionally than the output. So here is not directly proportional, but here it is less proportionally. Let us see what does this mean, those particular systems that we saw over there. Here time is used as a measure of output and earnings or bonus is paid on the time saved. Standard time set for a job and the time actually taken, these are called the gain sharing scheme. So if you are taking less time to do the job and as compared to the standard time, then you get gain. That is, you will be able to produce more items in the same time or so. So as a result, what we call is the gain sharing. Then Halsey plan says the bonus will be paid to a worker 50% of the out of time saved multiplied by the rate per hour. So as we were talking about, less proportionally, so it is not directly proportional, but it is 50% out of the time saved. The second plan is the Rowan plan. Bonus is paid to employees is equal to the proportion of the time saved to the standard time, approximately the same as the thing. Then the third thing that we saw was the birth plan. Birth scheme, worker pay is determined by multiplying the standard hour by the number of hours actually taken, taking the square root of the product and multiplying it by the worker's hourly rate. So simple thing, that multiplying the standard rate and the number of hours actually taken by the, taking a square root of that and multiplying by the hourly rate. The next is the Bardioux system. The standard time for a job is determined. Each minute is called point or B. Each job has a standard number of Bs. Rate per hour is also determined. The worker, in addition to his hourly rate, he receives bonus equal to 75% of the number of points earned in excess of the 60 per hour multiplied by 1/6 of the worker in hourly rate. So you will have to sit down and work on this particular thing. But here also you see it is less. That is 75%. Now having seen these four, that is directly proportional and less proportionally, now we go to the third one. That is what we call as the employee scheme continued, more proportionality than the output. So in the more proportionality than the output, we will correlate with the first one. Let us see, higher piece rate and higher standard rate per hour is fixed. Then here, unlike the first scheme, the proportion of payment of incentives is not directly proportional but higher. Let us see the system. In that, earnings different at differential rates of output. Taylor's differential piece plan, there is a low rate for output below the standard and a higher piece rate for output above the standard with a bonus of 50% of the time rate saved. So here also it is more than that. That is, we have fixed the time. If the output is more, you will get bonus 50% more than that. It's normal. Then the second was the Merrick one. Here, instead of 2 rates as in the Taylor system, there are 3 rates, differential rates. Then Gantt system, worker is guaranteed his or her time rate for output below the standard rate. On reaching the standard and higher piece of rate, he is paid more. So even if you produce lower, you will be getting that, but you produce more, you will be getting more. The last one is the Emerson efficiency rate. Standard time is set on each job, and efficiency, once it is reached, then differentially by dividing the time taken by the standard time and then arriving at the total amount, because higher the efficiency, more the particular payment will be there as far as the incentive is concerned. Now these are the four things that we have seen, that is, first directly proportional, second less proportionally, third we have proportionally more, and the last one differential. So in case of this four system, that is the incentive system. Now there are certain prerequisites for an effective incentive plan, because basic aim was that the person should be satisfied and equitably. So first prerequisite is that seek cooperation of the workers through proper discussion with their representative. Do not make a plan and then force it on the workers, but it is better that you take them into confidence and then start a particular plan, so that the first prerequisite, that before starting a plan you seek the cooperation. The second is the scheme must be based on some scientific work measurement, and the standard set should be of realistic. So two things in that: there should be some way by way of which you can actually work the performance, and also the standard should be realistic, that is achievable. The third is the indirect workers. They should also be taken into consideration, who are not directly, that is the supervisors, helpers, canteen staff, storekeepers, clerical staff, they should also be included. The fourth is there should be a management committee to administer these particular incentives. And the fifth, scheme should be properly balanced. And the last one is that a safeguard must be built into the scheme. So just repeating that: first, seeking the cooperation of the worker and their representative. The scheme must be scientifically based and the standard should be realistic. Second, the other people who are not directly involved with the, that is the supervisor, ethnographer, stenographer, clerical staff, must be also included. To administer this scheme, there should be a management committee, and the scheme should be properly planned, then only implemented, so that everything is taken in advance care of, and the safeguards must be built in the scheme. So this was all that we wanted to do as far as the incentive schemes are concerned, and now we will study what is meant by welfare measures. One of the most important aspects, welfare measures refer to the physical, mental, moral, emotional well-being of an individual. These contributed to better work environment. Once again, welfare measures means physical, mental, moral and emotional well-being of an individual, because then if the individual is satisfied, he will be happy to work in that environment. Then welfare measures inside the workplace, let us see what are conditions of work environment. That is, where you are working, what is the environment, both physical as well as the mental. So neighborhood safety and cleanliness, attention to approaches, these are quite simple things. I am going to go faster. Second, upkeep of the premises, compound wall, lawns, gardens, passages, etc. Third, sanitation and cleanliness, temperature control, humidity, ventilation, etc. Then the provision for rest hours, meal timing and other breaks, etc. Then workmen's safety measure, fencing, machine providing helmets, aprons, goggles, etc. and all that. And notice boards, etc., giving this particular safety precautions. So these are work environment. The next is what we say welfare measure, conveniences. Now conveniences are restrooms, wash basins, bathrooms, provision for spit-ons, waste disposal, other provision for drinking water, water coolers, canteen services, full meal, mobile canteen, etc. Then management of workers' cloakrooms, restrooms, leading room and library. Workers' health services, factory health center, dispensary, ambulance, emergency services, examination, etc. The